All right, so what we're going to look at right now is, just like we did with some of our examples today, is how to solve equations using square root. Now, remember, when you're solving by using square roots, that means you're going to be taking the square root of both sides of your equation. And it's important to remember, when you're taking the square root of both sides, it means you want your equation to the point where you either have your x variable isolated or you have your variable isolated inside a set of parentheses that has been isolated. So like x plus or minus some constant. So you don't want to take the square root until you have either one of these two situations. So when you have an equation like this, where you've got a quadratic trinomial, in order to arrive at one of these two situations, you need to see if this quadratic is a perfect square. Now, remember, we looked at what makes a perfect square trinomial. Today in class, we saw that if this middle term, if 1/2 of that, so in this case 30 over 2, so 30 divided by 2 squared equals c. So in this case, 30 divided by 2 squared is 15 squared. Now, if 15 squared equals 225, then this already is a perfect square trinomial, and we just need to factor it. So in this example, we see that 15 squared is 225, so we know that we can factor this to x plus 15 squared. Now, when we go ahead and set that equal to 121, we'll see that we now are in a position to take the square root of both sides. So go ahead and take the square root. And remember, when you take the square root, your radical and your exponent cancel. So we're just left with x plus 15 on our left-hand side. And on our right-hand side, remember, the square root of 121 is 11, so we get plus or minus 11 here. Okay, now you just solve this like a simple algebra equation. We have to subtract 15 from both sides, so we get x equals negative 15 plus or minus 11. Now, you're going to get two different answers for this. You're going to get both a positive and a negative. What I mean is you're going to get negative 15 plus 11 and negative 15 minus 11. So in this case, we're going to get x equals negative 15 plus 11 is negative 4, and negative 15 minus 11 is negative 26. So those are going to be your two answers. Now again, what I want to stress is you cannot solve by using the square root unless you've either have your variable alone inside a square or you have a perfect square binomial. So x plus or x minus some constant in parentheses, and that whole thing is being squared. Okay. If you have any questions on solving these types of problems, either look in your book at example 1 for section 3.3 or go ahead and send me a message on the Remind app.